Hey guys, so this is just a really quick video. Basically, I had a call with someone named lioconvoy who made a video. I basically had a call with him and talked about my side of the story with everything. There are things that I admit to that I have done wrong here. There are things that I try to clarify. There is a specific person that is talked about in the call who is an abusive ex who will leave unnamed, and while there is of course evidence of actions that have been said in this call, such as inappropriate comments this person has made that they have even admitted to, because this evidence would involve showing conversations with this person or showing video footage of this person speaking, which would break legal stipulations of not communicating. I have to unfortunately not provide that evidence within this video. However, the reason I'm even releasing this call is because this call had in fact been clipped, and I wanted to release the absolute full version of it because I don't appreciate clipping evidence. So, as you can see, yeah, I'm not really gonna edit this at all. I mean, there was like a private conversation at the end someone had with me that wasn't even it didn't even involve the situation really. It was just a private conversation that someone in the call wanted edited out. So, that won't be there, but, obviously, yeah, and, if you want evidence that I mention in this call that I talk about with said X, I can provide it, of course, in private if you haven't seen it. If you've already seen it, then there isn't a reason to, but again, just, you know, clarifying why some things aren't obviously going to be included in this, like with any evidence to be shown. So yeah, here we go. Oh. He must be getting ready or something.
He
I'll
said it'll
join
early.
short. Oh, yeah, he misspelled it. It's shorty. I said it's just short. I'm tired. I am very tired.
Yeah, we're all there.
Oh, Bruges. Yay. Hello.
Jesus Christ, Salem.
Salem. The good boy. Hey, Opal. Been a long time.
Hello.
Are you okay if I record this?
I don't mind if anybody records it.
Okay.
I don't mind.
She must be.
Is
Rouge
my
must have.
connection bad? And is there a lot of background noise?
I don't hear anything.
Rouge is just being added because she is a non-biased party, so.
Epic.
Yeah, she'll be our mediator then.
Gigi! Gigi! Your father is in a meeting!
I'm gonna stay muted until the others get in the call.
Hey, that's fine.
Alrighty.
You want to watch some video while we wait?
I don't mind.
Alright.
By the way, Opal, is this from private that only certain people can be invited?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
We'll do. What should we call this room? Clearing the air?
Let's just call it conference room.
Conference room.
Just keep it bare and simple.
I like things to have a name. Was it Mom or Gigi? Probably Gigi. Alright, staying muted till Leo and Rouge get it? Oh, I think you mean get in.
Huh?
I'm gonna say get in, because...
Yeah, it's fine. It gets across one way or the other.
You okay, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good.
I...
It's a little late for me too, so I'm just a little tired.
That's understandable. What time is it for you?
Same as you.
Okay. I always forget if we're in the same time zone or not.
Yeah, we are.
Child. Good for you. You went and used the litter box. Yeah, I know. Yes. Stop screaming at me. I get it. Okay. I'm gonna put on Gumball just because it's a good show to watch, and I don't want to continue the video until we're back in the chat room, just because I know they wanted to finish it with us. So, Gumball time. Because cartoons make the world go round. Why does it continue on Animaniacs every fucking time? I don't get it.
I don't know. It does it to me too. It's very odd.
I think we only had like a minute of this episode left. Yeah, we could just continue with the new episode, so.
Okay, so
If you're saying anything, we can't hear you. You've
Yeah,
gone robot.
You're roboting.
Yep, that's what I figured. Or low do I say?
You're talking like it's all stuttery, like robotically, it's very difficult to understand. It's constantly cutting out. Hey, Leo.
Evening. I don't think Rouge is going to be able to make it. She's kind of involved with something else right now.
That's fine. Yeah, you're really low, so I need headphones. Sorry about that. I don't know why my audio is always low. Like, I have headphones. I don't know if I need to fiddle with audio settings or whatever, but that's just how it is. If Rouge is busy, then that's okay.
So who's your friend here?
Gomad.
Yeah, you can just call me Gomad.
Gomad. All right, I might shorten it to Go, if that's all right.
Perfectly acceptable.
Wait for Opal to unmute.
They're roboting, so
Opal, are you there?
Yeah, I had to put on headphones because everybody is really low. That happens with
You sounded just fine.
But then when I put on headphones, no one can hear me. I didn't have headphones in. I turned them off now. No, it's that I can't hear anybody else very well.
Opal, you were roboting.
Yeah, you were roboting really badly.
it's not even roboting on my end. It's like I'm catching every fifth word.
Oh, Opal is in the car.
How long are you going to be in the car?
Not long. Okay.
Want to pick this up when you arrive, Opal?
Robert.
Okay, so Eden, you wanted to go over some of this stuff here, and you wanted a chance to defend yourself, right?
Yes, I do.
All right, so from my understanding, even though this is a technically private call, you don't want a certain thing mentioned here, yes?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to defend one thing with it, just because I am very extremely tired of hearing people say it. Obviously, I won't say the name of the person, because legal reasons, but I'm very extremely irritated people are saying I lied to the court about the individual that can't be mentioned, who will just say my ex, will say the alias Fox. I'm a bit irritated that people keep saying I lied to the courtroom about Fox or something, when I don't think people understand this, and I only know this because the courtroom told me themselves. In order to have even had a hearing, I had to provide some tangible evidence as of a threat to my safety in some way.
That's fine. That's not what I'm here to discuss with you.
Understood. I just wanted to say that because I do know that has been milling around a bit, and it is getting extremely irritating to hear constantly.
All right. You prefer if we do go over some of the stuff, if you wanted to go over any of it, that we refer to this individual as Fox?
Yeah.
then that's what we're going to do here. So, did you watch the video that was put out about you over a year ago?
I did. I watched it one time. I skimmed it. I didn't watch it completely just because it was causing me emotional distress. If you want, we could watch it in call and we could go point by point.
We don't need to watch it in call and go point by point. I actually have the folder up.
Okay.
And I created the video so we can go that way. So.
Yeah, that works.
Start with incident number 1. And this is what the issues I have right now is that somebody privacy struck it. And it specifically was at the call that you came onto Fox's channel and argued with Patch. You have claimed that Fox has done multiple things to you that were sexually driven, like sexual assault or molestation or even rape.
May I say one thing about that?
Yes.
I continually will say this. When it was said I accused Fox of molestation, there's something that I want to clear. I don't know if Fox did something to me while I was at his house. All I know with the circumstances of the situation is, and I didn't say this in the call, in the live stream, when I said in the live stream specifically, there are certain circumstances I didn't want to get into, but I will here, is that I woke up with my pants not all the way on. It was the dead of night. I was wet in my privates, and Fox was already awake, poked his head in, and brought me into his room where we did sexual activities together. That is why I continually say, I don't know if something happened. I told the police I don't know if something happened, and they took that to Fox.
That is completely contrary to what you have said previously, as in the screenshot.
When your ex admits to molesting you by denying it and diverting away and being yeah, because someone, I can't remember who at the time. I know someone confronted him about it. And when he confronted about it, he said that he was diverting attention away from it and not giving a clear answer.
That's not an admission of guilt.
It feels like one. Because when someone avoids giving a clear answer on a situation, that's usually because they're guilty of something.
Without having a clear admission of guilt, you still went on the rampage and still accused him of all sorts of horrible things that, number 1, you had no evidence to, and number 2, you, even by your own words, said you completely believed, but then immediately recanted months later and started dating Fox again.
May I say something on that regard?
You're welcome to say anything you want on this. That's what we're here for.
Okay. So, you are aware of what gaslighting is and the process of it, correct?
I am.
Alright. I firmly, now that I have gotten away from Fox, I have gotten away from the gaslighting. I have completely separated myself, talked to psychological professionals, showed them everything that has happened within conversations between me and Fox or things that have happened. I firmly believe 100% without taking anything back. Yes. Yeah, I said we fixed it, and that's basically Fox would bring me into calls for like 6, 7, 8 hours a day on Discord and constantly feed me this never happened, or you are imagining this, or this didn't happen this way. And now that I have re-examined the situation and I'm away from that environment, yes, Fox sexually abused me. Now, did he physically touch me without my consent? I don't know with the night that I was at his house, but I am a firm believer, especially after talking to my therapist and even telling her just everything that happened and her explaining that is actually a form of sexual abuse and things I didn't know were sexual abuse that he did that I thought were just mundane and made me uncomfortable. Yes, Fox sexually abused me in various ways, including guilt tripping me when I didn't want to do something sexual within roleplay or offline, because I do remember very specifically that happened a few points, making me feel bad when we did something sexual or I didn't do something sexual for him. we were at his house, and we did something sexual, obviously. Like, we would do sexual things, and I would ask him, hey, I feel bad that you're doing things for me. Can I do something for you? And he would tell me, to my face, this is about you. And I said, okay. And I took that, and I would go home, and then, his friends in a call called me a whore, and I was obviously upset about this, so I went to him. And then, for some fucking reason out of nowhere, he brought up how I didn't do enough for him at his house. He would also find ways to, quote-unquote, punish me. He was clever because he would bring me into his chat room during calls with his friends, who he knew would trigger trauma for me, or he would put on movies with sexual abuse knowing it was a trauma for me, and would basically subject me to material, and I wanted to leave the chat rooms. I absolutely wanted to leave them. But when I would bring up the suggestion to him in private, he would absolutely flip his shit. And it would go from, like, because what happened originally with that subject is I talked to my therapist, obviously, for, because it was my therapist, but he specifically told me, ask your therapist if there's anything I can do to be better if I'm doing anything wrong. And I said, okay, I'll let her know if there's anything. And I would talk to my therapist and be like, I don't really have a problem with Fox at the moment, other than, like, we would do role play, and I would feel bad if I didn't do anything he wanted, because there were things he wanted me to do I just wasn't comfortable with, and he knew I wasn't comfortable with them, and he would either still push, or if I didn't do them, he would make me feel bad for it. And the other thing I brought up is if I was in his chat room, people like Step would obviously trigger my trauma, and she said, I think this situation is toxic for you, and you should leave the chat room. I would bring it up, and he would flip his shit. So there were absolutely various ways he found to punish me for not going through with sexual activities. Another thing he did was unsolicited. He would send me sexual material without, like, first checking with me, and it would make me uncomfortable. Like, it would be photos of women in cosplay with big boobs, or it would be NSFW art, or he would send me, like, hentai porn videos and shit, and it would be genuinely uncomfortable for me. And it turns out that is actually a form of sexual abuse, and I didn't know that till I talked to my therapist. And I'm not going to say, like, I'm not going to sit here and say I obviously didn't cause issues, because I did. I was absolutely an emotional wreck at times. I took shit out on people, and I wasn't very emotionally stable or well put together. But at the end of the day, Fox was abusive, even emotionally. He would control who I talked to. He would get very easily jealous if I talked to people of the opposite sex. He even showed me Grace's nudes at one point, which was extremely uncomfortable, and used that to constantly talk to me and be like, hey, Grace sent me her nudes, it'd be really cool if I got some of yours. And then one day, I actually broke, and I sent them to him, not because he was in the hospital. That's actually a lie, he said. I sent them to him because it was the weekend, and those were his quote-unquote anger days, or the days I had to expect him to be a little on edge, or expect a little worse treatment from him, because those were the days he was extra upset and irritated. So those happened, and the emotional abuse was he would spam me if I didn't give him an answer he wanted right away, or even if I did give him an answer he wanted, he would fucking, like, say shit and just constantly be like, you're not really sorry, you don't... Like, it was... So, yes.
We were specifically talking about sexual abuse and molestation. And Opal has asked a very pertinent question. Do you have any screenshots of Anthony doing any of this? Specifically, my reference is to sending you unsolicited graphic material.
Yeah, Fox. I would have to go, I would assume he deleted things. I do know that I obviously have, like, screenshots of, yeah, okay, so what happened is he didn't send me Grace's news. We were on screen call in Skype, and he, like, went through his private messages with her to show me that she sent him news, because what happened is he would tell me that they broke up, and then she would send him nudes and say, teehee, but we're still not dating, as if to try to, like, get me to feel bad for him and shit. So he didn't send me her nudes, but, like, he sat there and screen call on Skype and showed them to me, and I looked and I was like, why are you showing me this? I don't feel comfortable. Like, I didn't even look at the screen fully. I know he sent me the news because I got a flash of them, and then I just, like, completely, like...
Okay. Some point through that and see what you can find. But more importantly, you said he never physically assaulted you, to your knowledge.
To my knowledge, no, he did not.
Okay, just so you're aware, sexual abuse is defined as physical.
Not. It can be other things outside of physical.
According to American Psychologists Association, it is specifically perpetrated by force or taking advantage of another.
Yeah, taking advantage can be other things outside of physical. That's a very vague term.
And abuse is a very specific term. I will not sit here and tell you that Fox is a fantastic boyfriend, and your claims about gaslighting, blunt as possible here, I don't think he's smart enough to do something like that. At the time, the man couldn't find direction unless I pointed him in the area. I don't think he's smart enough to pull that off.
Even if you don't think he's smart enough to do that, I mean, at the end of
it's not even a matter of me thinking that he's smart enough. It's a matter of consistent behavior proving he's not smart enough to do that. This.
Opal brings up a decent point. You can still abuse somebody or take advantage of them, even if it's not physical or within the same space.
But there's a difference between molestation, which is what sexual abuse is generally qualified as, and what Toon did and what is being alleged of Anthony here. Especially when you are going on saying that you believe he admitted to it by your standards, but then saying you don't know if he admitted to it or don't know that he did it. It cannot be both. It has to be one or the other.
I feel like I don't know if he did or didn't, but I don't like the fact that he won't say if he did or didn't. And I
It didn't stop you from going...
And on top of that, I don't appreciate the fact that with what happened, he has literally told me he wishes to molest me in a non-roleplay format.
And he also clarified what he actually meant when he was in a call with ZD, because both of us know Anthony no good, or Fox no good with English.
Basically,
he says the dumbest possible things because he doesn't know the words to use. He still spells follow with an A.
Okay, but what he very specifically told me, and obviously he deleted the message, so I can't get the screenshot, but what I do very vividly remember him saying is basically what happened is we were talking, and I was like, yeah, I'm really excited to meet up with you at BronyCon, because we were going to meet up offline. And his exact words, because I remember it's burned into my brain from the trauma of reading that, I can't wait to molest daddy's little girl and fuck her into the bed until she's begging me to stop.
Yes, and again, he qualified that the word he meant was ravage.
Those are still both pretty bad.
He didn't mean to say the word ravage. He said it's like the word ravage. That's what he said in the fucking thing. He said, well, it's like saying ravage. But he defends the fact that it's okay to say you want to molest someone.
You know what the word ravish means?
Ravage means to... Hang on, let me look it up. Ravage.
Ravish. R-A-V-I-S-H.
No, he said ravage.
Do you realize those words sound very similar, and in a sexual connotation, ravish is far more common?
I'm telling you, if you go back and listen, he said the word ravage. Like, with a hard A-G-E sound.
Because I'm saying I think it's ravish because it means two things. Either seize and carry off by force, or fill someone with intense delight and rapture.
No, he's read off the definition of ravage when he said it, and it says to cause severe, extensive damage to. That's why I think it's the word ravage, because he read off the definition, and that is the definition that he gave.
I'll have to go look at the video again. I'm sure ZD has it somewhere, and I'm sure he also still has the log somewhere that you're worried about being deleted.
It's not that I know, like, have the logs in the screenshot, I just don't have the exact thing he said, because when I was talking about what he said, that's all that was there. Let me go and get the screenshot, though. Folder. There it is. Okay. Okay. This is the best screenshot I could get because it was from the video by Fusion, but that's the screenshot that could ever be used, and you can see me saying at the top, you know, smiling, daydream about meeting you ever since I found out I could go to BronyCon, like, I'm so excited, and then it says this message has been removed, and then I said, maybe molest isn't the best term, and then he continued, and I said, I mean, you're not wrong, my voice would be shaky, because he said, your voice gets all high and shaky while saying it, and I said, I mean, you're not wrong, this message has been removed, and they said, seriously, don't use the word molest, big turn off. He said, oh, sorry.
Yeah, he apologized for using the word.
But he also didn't stop after the first no.
Saying isn't the best term.
It is also a continual pattern that he does not stop after no. That's literally why we broke up the first time.
So do you think apologies don't mean anything then?
Means nothing if it's continually broken.
Well, don't worry. We'll get to that sooner or later. So let's go ahead then, since we're not going to get any headway here, and move on to the next issue. Incident number 2 was when you had a meltdown in Mint's GoFundMe group because you decided out of nowhere to pick a fight with Fox, and you were warned about it. And shortly after then, you did it again after you'd be removed if it happened again, because the group's purpose was not about you, it was about Mint.
Let me read this.
This is just after you got kicked.
I don't even think I went to talk to him during that time because I was still ignoring his presence. What happened?
You literally came into call. I got dragged into a call because I arrived in Corpus Christi at my hotel room when I got this call because you were terrified you were going to get doxxed. You said his friends are threatening to dox me.
Yeah.
You had a meltdown because you brought it into that room when you were told not to.
I shouldn't have brought it in the room. I'm not going to lie.
You're right. You shouldn't have. Thank you for admitting that.
I should have brought it privately to someone to handle, and I brought it to the group chat and yeah, that was wrong of me. I'm not going to lie.
Right. Now give me a second here, because for incident number 3, I had to go actually look at the video itself, so give me a moment here.
Oh, you remember, this completely blanked my mind. You mentioned about the privacy complaint on your video. I honestly don't know who did that, but that was not me. The first privacy complaint on your video last year, yes, because I don't like my legal name being out there in a video. I put it on a website when I was a child, and if I did put it on a site for freelance artwork offline, I never advertised it for people to find. I don't like my birth name being out there. I don't
matter. Doesn't matter. Because whether you did it as a child or whether you did it as an adult is irrelevant. The point is you put the information out there. As such, it's not protected information. Now, if your argument is ultimately, I don't want to be referred to as that because you consider it a dead name, especially your legal name, that's another matter altogether. This is also before you were identifying as he. So,
yes, but at the
going
same time,
forward,
it was still my dead name, and I was non-binary at the time.
It's a name you literally went by, and you had friends and may still have friends that had no problem disrespecting your pronouns. If you're going to get onto me for using that name, but you don't take issue with other people, not a me problem, that's a you problem.
People I associate with don't use that name that I know
Fable,
of.
No, Fable calls you the wrong pronouns, though.
No, she doesn't.
She
usually calls
I
me
saw it literally happen in your server.
When?
Not true.
True, huh?
It's not true.
It's either Fable or it's Quillstroke. It's either Fable or it's Quillstroke. One of those two.
If it was Quillstroke, I've already cut her from my life.
Yeah, you have recently. And we'll get to that pretty soon. The third incident was when you decided to give grief to Draconator's victim, or was it a victim? No, it was the teenager that brought forth things, harassing the teenager because the teenager wasn't giving you the answers you wanted. You remember that?
I remember being upset that they would say they would constantly waffle between Drake and Nader. Not Drake and Nader, I'm dumb. They said Diana is a predator and then went to Diana isn't a predator and then made a thing saying this is why Diana is a predator. And then
it was also the fact that the kid wouldn't provide you the evidence.
I didn't message I think I only finally messaged the kid about the evidence. Like, I remember they reached out to me in FNGR but said they weren't the victim. So obviously, like, we went forward and we're like, well, do you have evidence of this? And then when we finally found out they were the victim, I don't remember, like, badgering them for it, but if I did, then I'm sorry, and that was wrong of me, because at the end of the day, that wasn't, like, they were still a child and probably still confused about the situation themselves, and at the end of the day, Drake and Ader was a manipulator, manipulated the situation, and probably manipulated that child. So if I did harass the child,
you need to apologize to the child.
Yeah, I don't. Does the child have a Discord or social media I can contact them on?
I have no clue. I haven't contacted the child because that was my value. If you want to find the kid, I'm sure you can trace that yourself by following the Vegator thing again.
Yeah, I know he deleted a lot of social media.
In fact, it should be within your messages because you messaged the child.
Yeah, I'd have to go. Hopefully, they didn't change their username on Discord because then I wouldn't be able to find them. I know they deleted their Twitter that time, so that was that's gonna make it difficult.
We'll move on to the next issue. This issue was you picking a fight with Foster because Foster said some stupid thing about Jaden Animations.
Okay, so my reasoning wasn't just the fact that they said shit about Jaden Animations. Yes, I was upset about things, but my real issue was that they were presenting facts about mental and physical health as if it was fact when it isn't, and trying to invalidate issues that people could have, and trying to present it as this is why this person couldn't have this issue. I find it very harmful to, you know, say someone can't be this mental illness or can't have this physical issue because this doesn't fit their personal definition of the issue.
So instead of responding with a video or using any sort of fact-based information, you go into his server and make a complete clown of yourself and give him constant grief over it, saying that you're never going to leave?
At the end of the day, I realized what I did was wrong, and I actually have made up with Foster for it. Like, me and Foster talked on Discord a year or two ago. We don't talk anymore just because, you know, we have.
Listen, it wasn't 2 years ago because I went to Foster with this, and at that time, before I made the video, like a week before, made it very clear you never apologized.
No, I absolutely apologized. Do you have Foster's Discord? Because I can go and find their messages. Because I know we talked.
Not currently, I don't, because I don't have the old account I used to where I discussed it with him.
Yeah, no, I absolutely made up with that person a good long time ago. Like, we were like, hey, we were both kind of dumb. Fuck, I'd have to find their username. Does Foster still have a fucking YouTube? Maybe I can find their Discord through that.
I have no idea.
Fuck. Catsoon? Maybe I could find it through that? Hang on. Foster re-uploads? No. So they...
You can move on to the next thing. That's something you can do on your off time.
Foster.
Do you need to do that now? I mean, I can go and find that information later, but I know for certain we absolutely talked on Discord and we're like, hey, we're cool now. But no, I will admit, I was an absolute fool that day.
It was longer than a day. All right, so let's go into number 6 here. Did you try to sell the kitties nudes to Kiwi Farms?
I had the idea, but then I thought against it.
But at no point did you contact anybody from Kiwi Farms and make that offer.
No, I did.
Okay. After that, you made another accusation of Fox. You made a massive ordeal about it, saying that he threatened to leak your nudes.
Yes, he did, and I stand by that.
Because he said if it gets out, it'll be because of you. Somehow a threat.
Yes, that's absolutely a threat. That's him trying. That is.
There's no way around that.
Actually, there's plenty of ways around that. Opal.
Can I say how I have confirmation that is a threat? How I know
in a moment.
Legally.
In a moment.
Hold
Opal.
on. Let me close the door. But what? What? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yes, I can. Opal, have you ever taken nudes of yourself?
Yeah.
You ever sent your nudes to somebody?
Yeah.
Let's use an example. Let's say you sent your nudes to your boyfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your nudes get out any further, it's because of your doing. You chose to send them to somebody. I'm not saying that somebody sent them because of you. I'm saying that you chose to send the nudes to somebody. Would that be a fair assessment?
I'm a little confused, but...
Okay, the implication is that if somebody else gets a hold of your nudes, it's because you sent it to them. You sent it to somebody else.
Okay, that's a bad assessment.
But
The assumption here is that you're saying
if there's an expectation of privacy, I think it's a little different. But
yes, but
I don't think what Anthony said was a threat. I think what he was trying to say is, I'm not going to send your nudes to anybody, and if they somehow get out there, it's because you sent them to somebody.
Is what he said both in stream and apparently to Rouge and Elf, because apparently they were in call with him when this was said.
Yeah, me, Elf, and Lio were all, or not Lio, I keep saying you. Me, Elf, and F and GR were all in call when they were sending those messages to you, and he said, let him know that if they get out, it's going to be because he leaked them, not because I put them out there.
Okay, hold on, Rouge, real quick. Just going forward, we're referring to that individual as Fox. So, go ahead, Buttons. You said you had solid evidence that it was a threat, so let's hear it.
So, I went to the doctors one day after BronyCon because my chest was hurting. And usually when you're at the doctors, they ask you, why are you emotionally distressed over a situation if you are? They usually ask, are you mentally going through something? Is something going on in your life? I said, I am having issues with an ex. They said, what started these issues? All I did, I pulled out my phone, I showed the message, they stepped out and called the police immediately and said, we are getting this taken care of. That is why I have personal confirmation that what he did was wrong.
But you have personal confirmation about your personal bias about how a specific statement was read.
It still doesn't, if the fact the police were called without
The police have also been called about a kid holding a stick that was vaguely shaped like a gun. That's not evidence of anything.
A doctor is not a lawyer. A doctor is not a police officer. A doctor doesn't necessarily know anything about the law.
No, but then when I showed the message to the police, they also were upset and said they think I should file for a restraining order if that's happening.
Again, the police have also arrested children for having sticks that are vaguely shaped like guns. That's not a good metric for whether or not it was in fact a threat.
Vaguely construed as a threat, it's still a threat.
I can also say something like, if you don't knock that off, bad things are going to happen. That could be vaguely construed as a threat, but it might also mean I'm going to kick you from a call. That's your metric. If that is your value, that's a really weak and stupid value.
Personally,
if you feel threatened, it's still a threat.
Buddy, if that's your metric, I will repeat, it is a really dumb metric, and you're going to struggle throughout the rest of your life. If you feel threatened, it's a threat. Means that if I were to tell you right now that you being a little more terse in your term is a threat to me, then I should call the cops on you. And that would be really stupid, wouldn't it?
Considering my nudes aren't on the line, I would definitely still consider it a threat.
I'm not talking about your nudes, Scooter. I'm talking about the conversation you and I are having right now about the validity
within the lines of these nudes. Yes, I will accept
within the lines of these nudes, it's also really stupid.
Once again, our nudes aren't on the line. His were, And I was still gonna that.
Only one person in this conversation has ever tried to sell somebody's nudes, and it's not me, it's not you, it's not Rouge, it's not Opal, and it wasn't Anthony.
Still, they did not go out.
They didn't ever go out on Anthony's end or on Fox's end either, because he doesn't have a habit of throwing people's nudes out into the ether.
Show me Grace's nudes.
He said out into the ether. Do you not know what that word means?
Even if he didn't throw Grace's nudes out into the ether, he still displayed someone's nudes to someone else.
Yes, and we displayed Vita's via Google Docs.
He displayed his ex-partner's nudes. Let me put it better that way. He still displayed an ex-romantic partner's nudes.
Did Anthony ever show your nudes to anybody?
I don't know.
You have, number one, no history or reason to accuse him of that because you misread a conversation. Not the first time you've done that. He went on a tirade making the claim that he molested you. You didn't have true confirmation, and then you walked it back. Rouge also has a very valid question. Why didn't he show any of his exes?
Probably because he wasn't sexual with her.
Sexual with me.
I mean, like, you said, like, you told me he wouldn't really, like, he wasn't as sexual with you as, like, he was with me.
In person.
That interesting.
Yeah, I dated him for a year and I never even had him send me, like, some porno girl's nudes.
He would send me, like, pictures of cosplay girls and shit, like, all the time.
You
realize cosplay girls,
but not naked.
Cosplay girls inherently aren't sexual. Like, that's...
And NSFW
what relevance?
art. Especially
Also
art of Luna and Trexie.
Those are My Little Pony things, right?
Well, they were anthro with big boobs, and I generally am not comfortable with big boobs. And he knew this.
You expose people to NSFW on your Twitter pretty regularly. Do you get your followers' consent every time you send it, or you send it out there inherently understanding that they know what your account's about?
It is still a little different when you are with someone in private who is a romantic partner.
Actually, yeah, it is different in the sense that usually that consent is assumed. If I were to, and I don't do this, if I were to send my... Hold on, Opal, cover your ears because you're going to hate hearing this. If I were to send my wife a dick pic, I don't need to ask her to do it.
Yes, you do. You always ask people's consent. You absolutely always ask people's consent.
You don't grasp how an actual functional relationship works. Actually, you don't. Because when it comes to me and my wife, my body is hers is mine.
No one's body is no one's. That's not how a relationship works.
Don't give me one functional relationship you've ever had, Eden.
I dated a guy for 6 years.
With him?
What'd you say?
You're still with him?
No, I'm not.
How old were you when you dated?
We started dating when I was like 14 and ended when I was turning 19. No, after I turned 19.
You were a child, and that is not even close to what we're discussing.
It's different.
What'd you say?
Still a relationship. How is it different if it's still a relationship?
Children consent.
Okay, and?
Children are sexual with each other. Children are sexual with each other.
They can be. Yes, they can be. But again, Buttons, why'd you break up?
Let's not use that name here.
Yeah, my name is Eden. I don't prefer to go by that name.
Okay, fine. Eden. Did you break up?
We broke up because I was dealing with emotional issues, and we decided that it was best if we just separate.
Then it was dysfunctional, because if you have a partner that is functional and cares for you, you having issues doesn't stop that.
It wasn't just issues. It was... I'm trying to be vague because it's personal.
Don't have to be super personal because my point stands regardless of the issue.
Doesn't mean it's dysfunctional. It just means that there may have been issues that caused them to break apart.
That's also a form of dysfunction, my dude. Wait, you are a dude, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's a symptom of dysfunction. If you have to break apart because one person's having issues, that's not a functional relationship. That's literally part of the function aspect. If a computer monitor doesn't turn on, it's because it does not function, therefore dysfunctional. If a relationship does not continue, it is dysfunctional.
People can have very functional relationships and still break off because of having an issue. Like, I had an extremely functional relationship with someone who I broke off with this year just because we had an issue and we realized we aren't right for each other because we have a skew in... I'm trying to best put words into how to describe it. We had an issue, and we couldn't work it out. But we still had a very loving relationship the entire time.
I don't think you know what the word dysfunctional means.
Why are you hung up on dysfunctional? The point stands that you can still have a relationship where you care about each other and things don't work out in the end.
You don't understand why I am focusing on this, and I think at some point you need to go back, and I don't know if somebody's recording this, maybe re-listen to it and focus on what I'm saying instead of trying to respond.
Can I say something?
Yes.
The reason that lots of the times young relationships end and young people get manipulated by older people into being in certain kinds of relationships is because they just fundamentally do not understand how healthy or just any kind of relationship fully works. In relationships, there's a lot of things that form that because of outside experiences, how you deal with people, how you communicate, and physically speaking in the brain, people that young cannot communicate in a proper way to do that. And so I understand that relationship was long and meant a lot, and I'm sure towards the end it probably was normal, but I don't think that it's fair to consider that a really serious relationship.
Okay. Well, I did have a functional relationship this year that lasted a while. It just broke off. And it, like, I just don't talk about it on social media because at the end of the day, it was a private relationship. It was a private issue that broke it off, and it doesn't need to be aired out like that because at the end of the day, they weren't a bad person. Nothing bad happened. It was just an issue that happened. And yet, every time we interacted sexually, we always asked the other person consent for everything we did. Because at the end of the day...
A little piece of advice. If you're going to keep something really, really personal and vague, you can't really use it as an example.
Is it important that we drag the people who aren't involved in this into here, though?
What
I think I'm going to go out and talk to these people because I don't know any of these people, and I'm certainly not going to bug them because of this. Know who you are.
Oh, I prefer it that way.
I know, Lio man, big and mean. Ooh, gotta worry about him. But you accuse him of wanting to spread your nude or threatening to spread your nudes, and your evidence is cops were called. That's goofy evidence. Really goofy evidence. Really goofy value. And Go Here's value is also really goofy when you extrapolate it into any other aspect of life. Seeing something as a threat does not mean that it is a threat. It's like a woman, a white or a black man walking his dog. White woman calling the cops because she feels threatened doesn't make him walking his dog a threat.
You also have to put into context the situation of the fact it involved my nudes.
Well aware of that context, and in the context of the lady and the dog, she's claiming that she's worried the guy's going to get the dog to maul her. It's her life on the line, not just nudes. Point is, it's goofy. Goofy. We can move on to the next item.
The other
number
reason
7.
I felt it was a threat is because he would threaten me with things in the past.
Evidence of it.
Do you remember the situation where we broke off in December?
Here.
Fucking when Blake Diamond was around and he had his issue.
Was that 2018 or 2019?
2018. It
had to be 18.
I think it was, December 2018. The reason I say that is because when me and Anthony, and I broke up with him because I found out he was cheating on me. When we broke up with each other, he would, like, scream at people. Like, I remember Blake storming into the chat room at the time and telling me he was threatening to release my new docs to people where I was moving if I didn't go into the call with him.
Well, because Blake said it, therefore it's true. Blake bring you anything that can prove that? Did Anthony or did Fox confirm it when you got in the call?
Fox said it later when I was talking to him.
No point did you ever think to record this?
No, I didn't.
Question: did you when you were thinking about the news thing and you saw that, did you communicate with Fox that the police or the doctor called the police? And 2, did you speak to him before you spoke to anyone else freaking out about the news thing?
Well, no, the thing is, so what happened is the live stream happened and the screenshot happened all in the same day. I think that happened, and then after I got home from BronyCon, a couple weeks later, I went to the doctor's. And I wasn't going to contact Anthony because at the end of the day, I didn't want anything to do with him.
That, and when you guys decided to have a absolute hissy fit in the BronyCon server, which is why that all happened.
Because when I tried messaging him on Skype, he would refuse to answer messages or get into call and talk about it.
The person who accused him of being a molester, a rapist, and all these other things wants to go on another rampage. I'd imagine I would understand why he wouldn't want to talk to you going forward. So instead, you choose a random server and you start going at it there. If you thought it was a threat, you should have called the cops first. Hold on, I think somebody's at my door.
If the story's true, did the doctors tell you that they were going to call the cops before they did?
What'd you say?
If the story is true, did the doctors tell you that they were going to call the cops before they did?
No, they didn't.
And why am I only now hearing about the doctor thing?
Because, I have talked to people about it who want to know my side, and usually people don't ask about it or anything, so I don't tell them unless they ask. Because I don't like talking about this shit on the regular, generally. I don't like thinking about him, so... obviously
that
I'll make
detail is pretty big, and I think that detail is pretty big and would get you a lot less accountability for the cops being called.
Right, I'm back.
But you didn't answer my first question of did the doctor tell you that they were going to call the cops before they did?
No.
Okay, so you are in a position where the cops were called for you without your knowledge before it happening, and you didn't say anything about that when it was happening.
I have no idea what you're getting at with that.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost at the point here too.
He said that he showed the picture to the doctor, and the doctor called the cops without telling him that he was going to call the cops. And so I feel like it's strange that hasn't been brought up before.
I've told people in private this before who have talked to me about it.
But you've also talked about the situation in public, too.
I haven't talked about the situation at length in public because at the end of the day, I don't talk about it in public. Because, we don't talk about each other. I'll obviously mention I had an abusive ex who did things, but I won't say who, I won't go into specifics, and I won't go into specific details about the situation. Because legally we aren't supposed to talk about each other in public. And I don't want to give that person any reason to want to lose their shit and start going after me again, or for the legal system to get involved again, because it was stated that if either of us talked about each other, then the restraining order would be put both ways. And it's like, I don't really want to deal with it.
Well, my previous question I asked beforehand, you probably didn't answer it because I had to leave. But if you thought it was genuinely a threat, why didn't you call the cops? You've called the cops for the most inane things before. Why not that?
Because I thought you could only call the cops if it was already released.
So you thought it was a threat, but you didn't think you could contact the cops over a threat.
Because I didn't think, like, I only thought you call the cops over, like, threats on, like, your physical safety, and I didn't consider technically my nudes being released as safety issue.
That's not true. Because you called the cops because he posted a photograph of you and a dog. It had nothing to do with your physical safety.
I called the cops because he posted a photo of me, which was a considered form of doxing in my state, which was breaking the law, which I knew, and the reason I was upset.
Yeah, but threatening to leak someone's nudes is also a threat and also illegal, and both of those instances don't involve a threat of your physical person.
I only thought it was a threat. I only thought it was a reason to call the cops if the nudes were already released. That's why, like, I was very freaking out about the situation, because I didn't think I could get anything done about the situation until those were released.
When that live stream was started and Fox tried to pull you in there to get you to answer for trying to sell Lou the King's nudes, why did you refuse to go in?
Because he had it in limbo, and I didn't want to be in the limbo call. I wasn't going to be dogpiled by him and his friends. I would talk to him in private, but that wasn't going to happen.
Instead, I get dragged into a random group chat with you and Fable and Midnight Chimes trying to get me to do the job for you.
I wasn't going to speak to him in that environment, and I figured you were the person who knew him, like, who has a level head in the situation and could maybe talk to him about it, because, like, if people don't want to think it was a threat, fine, but it was a threat. I don't personally trust him. I don't think that, like, people keep saying he's not smart enough to manipulate, but I have experience with him that says to the contrary. Considering the fact he literally convinced people he was a trustworthy source of information for a year or two, until he literally got caught lying about someone purposefully taking a CP of his child.
Chose, instead of contacting an authority, instead of doing anything sensible, meltdowns, make accusations that you could not substantiate, which you still can't in some cases, or honestly all cases so far, because there's some things you have to get. Stand by a accusation you have made and then retracted and then made again and continue to make. You have tried to sell somebody's nudes, but he's the one that you think would enact such a threat when you have no actual able to point out history behavior that he would do something like that. Him knowing, by the way, that revenge porn is illegal in his state. Has said not only in private, but also in other private calls I'm not in or wasn't in, and on stream, that if he did that, he knows that I would get pissed and I would come after him, and he didn't want to deal with that. We're told multiple times that that's not actually a threat. He still ran with it. Do you just want it to be a threat?
No.
You want to move on to another topic?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go into incident number 7 then.
Okay.
Let's talk about your court case. Now, we're not going to get into the aspect of getting it and whatnot, that's neither here nor there. Talk about what you did at the end of the video. Do you remember what you did after you watched the video?
After I watched do you mean the privacy complaint?
Talking about what you put on Twitter after the video was released. Do you remember what you did?
Oh, I put the calls from the court case.
Court cases, right? Both of them?
Yeah.
Who are aware that recording that second one, because I know you got the first one by appealing to get it. The second one was recorded on your end. Realize that's illegal. I know you realize that's illegal because when I told you it was, you took them down. How did you break the law?
You cut out at that part, at the last part.
I asked, why did you break the law?
I wasn't aware at the time it was illegal to record, considering there were recordings of the court case made last time. And when I was told, I realized it was illegal, so I deleted it. Well, I took
You realize they've been saved. Nothing you put out there has ever gone away. It never will. That is your doing. For the record, it has been reported. Move on now to incident number 8. Now, remember when the Grizzly the medic situation happened?
Yes, I do.
Remember Anthony saying, or Fox saying extremely transphobic things about BronyCon's owner trying to get Jim's attention?
Wait, what happened?
Fox was trying to get Jim's attention about it, talking about how it would get his attention because BronyCon is ran by a bunch of, and I quote, trannies. A word I use, but I'm using it as a quotation here.
Okay.
And you, Purple Tinker, and other people reported his tweet and made fun of the fact that he was being dumb enough to try that type of method to get somebody's attention. Do you recall this?
100% honestly, I do not.
Okay. We'll eventually find that information because I know what happened because I saw it. And then, later on that day, when Jim was streaming, instead of trying to signal boost the fact that there was a person who was trying to prey on 14-year-old children, I wanted Jim to take another swing at Fox here.
I did not know he was trying to contact Mr. Medicare about the situation.
You reported his tweet, and you were gloating about it because it got removed and got Anthony in trouble with Twitter.
I don't remember that. I genuinely don't.
You've got a goldfish memory because these two events happened in less than 12 hours apart. Everything has to be about you, and that was a much more important situation. On to incident 9. Talk about Ichabod. Saw the video. Saw his logs. Saw everything that went down. You did not drop him.
I
Didn't drop him. He did.
I didn't know what he did until someone showed me the full evidence. And the minute I found out fully what he did, I confronted him. And I told him, you are out of my life. This is not okay.
You didn't.
This was before that.
No, this wasn't.
Yes, it was. This was before I dropped him.
This was before you dropped him. But you had admitted that you had seen the logs, that you read through them. He put out a video about them.
all I knew is what I was told, and what I was told about what he did and what I knew, because I didn't watch the video with Vita, because frankly I didn't want to, deal with Beryl, first off, and second off, I trusted...
Wasn't just that. It was also in my video. It was also in my video. You said you watched it.
I skimmed it. Because at the time I was dating Ichabod.
I've read the chat logs entirely. He made a video scrolling entire chat logs with him, and I did not see any instance of him initiating anything sexual. In fact, most of the chat say how she's in love with Vita and how he emotionally abuses her.
In his private chat logs on Discord, but I saw the ones he told her on Twitter.
Also, but the ones from Twitter, you were told, not just by me, but by other people as well. All of this. Here, I'll go ahead and grab you more links about it. Get put. Here we go. I made it very clear that he was an orbiter, and I did art depicting violence to him. You took it as an actual threat against you. Here, where's the rest? Ah, here it is.
The reason I took it as a threat against me was because my character was also in it.
There was not in the image. On the one I made. Buttons, if I wanted to go after you, I wouldn't tell you. If I wanted to do actual harm to you, I wouldn't project that. Just do it. For the record, yes, Ichabod did a video about his DMs, Twitter as well. There you go.
I only saw the video when I was fucking me and I can't remember the other people that were in the chat room, but he made a different video.
Quillstroke. The way I got that video was because Quillstroke linked to it. And Quillstroke knew. Quillstroke defended him. Did you? Find the other links.
At the end of the day, I dropped him from my life, and he is a predator, an
a year later,
and a pedophile. A year later, still, but I still dropped him from my life.
So, because you even went into the comment section. Saw Fluffy was posting in the video. Don't get extra points for doing the right thing later. Told. Ignored it. You excused it. Acceptable. There's no wiggling out of that one. Backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about the time you and Douglas and the other cavalcade of goons decided to start a call at 1 a.m. to conspire to get Emily's GoFundMe money taken away from her. Remember this?
Yes, I do, and I will say I was wrong in that situation. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Right, so if you're wrong, what do you do when you're wrong?
I have made an apology.
Whom?
Hmm?
Whom?
To Emily.
I just asked her and she said no.
I put it on my Twitter.
Twitter. Do it by messaging Emily. Anything, or even having it passed from me to Emily. No, you did it on Twitter. You see how goofy that is?
I can send you the apology I made and you can send it to her.
No, you need to send it to Emily.
Alright.
That is 2 years overdue. know when you're done.
Hang on, I'm trying to find it.
Her Twitter account is Emmy. Let's see here. Doodles Art.
Emmy Doodles Art. Okay.
I'll link it to you. Once you're done with that, we'll move on to what Opal wanted to bring up, because that's a valid thing to question.
All right. Okay, good. Her DMs are open. Oh wait. I'll unprotect my account from now so she can see the tweets.
So quiet without headphones.
Oh, wrong link. I'm dumb. Hang on. There it is. Okay.
What?
Stupid friggin'.
I said this before and I'll say it again. Do you really have to be writing out your apologies while you're in a call with people talking to you?
Oh, this is
Do it
fine.
in the moment.
I'm okay with it.
Wait, what'd you say?
Opal wanted to know why this had to be done right now, but I'm fine with this one.
Okay. Alright, I just sent it.
Did you send it on one of your locked accounts or what?
No, I unlocked the account so she could fully see it.
Okay. All right, so on top of that, there was this that was sent to you, and I want you to just marinate in this for a little bit. That's it. But let's go ahead and move on to what Opal wanted to talk about here for a moment. Post this.
Wait, that is really small. Hang on, let me try and zoom that in.
Yeah, it's small for me too. Try opening an original. I think it'll make it bigger. No, it did not.
It's weird.
I can read it because I can see it fine.
I gotta scroll in my own screen. Hang on.
From Star Fairy, it says, I'm going to put my displeasure of you aside because I have to tell you something very important regarding Ichabod, and this is going to affect you personally, knowing that you're a victim of childhood rape. He was pursuing Mint for a good while behind your back and talking many explicit things with her, BDSM and 50 Shades, for example, while making remarks implying that he wanted to pull an Onision and wait until the moment Mint turned 18 to date her and shit. You don't like me, and you don't like Vita or the Barrel. Feelings mutual, don't worry. But Mint is here to confirm everything involving her and Ichabod, and he's in a call right now to trying to justify all that he did. Then they link the video. You're more than happy to block me, but this was important for me to bring to your attention.
But why didn't you look into this yourself, Eden? All the things you've gotten real heavy into investigating or investing time into, not the fact that your boyfriend was accused of being an orbiter. Look at the actual videos discussing it. Why?
I don't have an excuse there. I don't have anything that can justify the fact that no, I wasn't thorough enough. And that was my mistake, and I've learned from that by every time someone brings something to me, if they do, I immediately ask for evidence, and I look into things very thoroughly from now on.
All right. Let's go ahead and bring up the thing I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason I felt like it was a threat is because they were characters that were depictions of myself, and I did not feel comfortable with the fact that depictions of myself were being killed.
You know what? First of all, none of them are dead. Second of all, you should probably have the context clues of that it's a joke, considering it's Doom Guy with a Thundercats logo, Has-Been Hotel, and piss. And teeth.
Also, let me ask you a question. This image. Recognize what this is, by any chance?
Transformer, I would assume.
So it's Starscream holding up the head of Optimus Prime. Assume dead in this, yes?
Yeah.
Every fiction is filled with OCs. Is this a threat to Peter Cullen? Guy who is essentially Optimus Prime, has done the voice longer than everybody in this call has been alive?
No. But may I say a counterpoint as to why I personally felt this is a bit different? Is because this was drawn with the express, like this felt like an express purpose of causing me great discomfort.
Character's dead.
Implying that would be assuming intent.
Any other characters dead?
No, but they do seem injured.
That's probably more to do with the fact that it's, well, hell. Not seeing any broken bones. Everything's in a red gradient because it's hell. I'm not even seeing much in the way of blood here. I can't even tell if some of these things even are blood. It's more like tie-dye.
To be fair, it is blood.
Yeah, there is blood.
Thank you for the qualifier, because I can't tell.
Also top right as well.
That's the one I thought was tie-dye. Specifically at the arms because it's uniform.
Fair.
Can I zoom in on this? There's got. Oh, wait a minute. They can zoom in using Google. Duh. There we go.
If somebody does hate art of an OC, that doesn't mean they are going to or want to physically hurt you. That's not a sensible assumption. They wanted to hurt you. And put the effort to putting it in art, they just go hurt you. And you know that I've had your information. If I wanted to, I could have and been done with it by now. If I had the desire to go hurt you, which, by the way, you haven't quite done anything to merit that, and if I'm going to go out and kill anybody, it's going to be a pedophile, not you. That is so doggone goofy and detached from any semblance of reality. I wanted that discussed, so it has been discussed. All right, so let's move on into Incident 10, one of your bannings from the Has-Been Hotel servers. You did not COC. Hemlock, right?
Hemlock, based off the plant.
Yeah.
Here. And in 1948.
Can you repeat that? You cut out about halfway through.
Yeah, you did.
Died in 1948.
Yes.
Why though?
The character?
Yeah, that's him.
Hold on, let me get the right thing up. blamed Ox doing quote Nazi art right here.
Wait. That wasn't the OC I was mentioning. It was that stupid pony.
Yes, but Ox didn't make you draw that one either.
Trials were a series of military tribunals held after World War II by Allied forces. What is your character? Whose name is that? Why were they died in the trials?
The original reason I made that character that way is because I originally wanted the character to be a what they call angel of death doctor, like those doctors that slowly kill their patients, and I wanted something. I didn't know what time to make him from, and I'm like, well, what is a time period where doctors would torture their patients? And people in my chat room suggested like people like from the Nazi era. I realized that wasn't a good thing of me to do. Like, I genuinely just wanted a character historically accurate, but then I was like, no. Like, after talking to people, after being confronted about it, I took time and realized, okay, no, that was offensive and wrong of me. I'm not doing that ever again.
Couldn't, like, get Vlad Dracul or something? You had to go with a Nazi?
I don't know who Vlad Dracul is.
I'm Dracula.
Oh, yeah, again, that wasn't cool of me. I'm not going to say, like, I'm not going to defend that.
Like I said in the video, in your defense, I think it's kind of goofy for a community built around the denizens of hell to get upset about a Nazi character. I'll admit that much. But the problem I had with this is, with you, it's never, okay, I did something wrong, I won't do it. It's, you constantly, it's never your fault. Even here, going on about it allegedly being a double standard, saying, oh, those are the rules of the server, fine, that's okay, whatever. Why do you do that?
I don't do that anymore. I genuinely think more about my actions and, like, how it will affect someone. But, like, the reason I was upset in that instance was because it was, like, their rule was don't base characters off real-life people. But then I said, doesn't Hazbin Hotel have a character literally based off a real person being Jeffrey Dahmer? That was the reason I was upset within that instance in Screenshot, because it was like, if there's a canon character in a situation that is based off a real person, I don't understand why you're upset about an OC with this situation.
Hold on. You brought up that you don't do these things anymore. Hypothetically, you are a perfect angel. You are.
Oh no, I'm not saying
very...
No, I'm not saying I'm a
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you're saying that. I'm just saying for the hypothetical, just for this one. You are great. You are not doing any of those things anymore. And also hypothetically, you also did all of the things in Leo's video that he said. So wouldn't it? Why those things affected people heavily? Many people it was affected heavily. Why would it be wrong to document it if it was true and had a large effect on people?
There were some things in the video, like in various situations, that didn't have the full context of situations. So I'm upset about that.
All right, let's move on to the next thing. Now, I understand that just last week you corrected this. However, I'd like to know why. Over a year you denied that this happened.
I never denied it happened. What I always say is, Manga Jag, I made that because he was in an abusive home, and the money was staying there for a while. And then Manga Jag and I talked, and I found out they were no longer in that home, so I thought, okay, ended the GoFundMe and went to refund the money to the people.
That's bullshit.
It's completely contrary to the evidence that Manga Jag gave me, which is that Manga Jag
I talked to you a while ago in DMs, and I said that it was fucked up that the Manga Jag thing happened, and you said it didn't happen.
Again, it's also contrary to Manga Jag's statement, which was more that Manga Jag needed the money for medication, and that you ghosted Manga Jag, and Manga Jag had, in some cases, had to track you down because of new screen names you would use, and you said that you needed the money and that you would be back, and you never did until, well, this past week, if I'm correct. This was, oh God, years ago?
I never told Manga, like, I was, like, getting, I had to deal with my own bills and rent and shit, and I kept the money in the...
It was about you moving. And I remember the incident specifically because you've mentioned it before about moving from that trailer.
Yeah, I moved from the trailer, but I never used any of Manga's money for it.
But you were broke several times.
Yes.
Where did Manga's money go?
I didn't use Manga's money. I kept it in my savings account.
Why did it take you 4 years to pay Manga back?
Because I had to become financially stable for it.
To be financially stable to send somebody $325 that you allegedly had in a savings account?
I had it in a savings account, and I refunded when the GoFundMe was shut down.
I have evidence that it was refunded.
I can go look.
There's nothing you could show, and I'm not asking for like numbers, like account numbers. You should be able to take screenshots of when it was deposited in the savings account and when it was removed from a savings account. The removing should be from the GoFundMe. It lists that it's a GoFundMe doing it. Do it right now. We'll open and you can send it in like a week or so.
Okay.
Don't forget.
I won't.
Let's talk about your friend Fabletail. Remember when Fabletail tried to escort Plushie?
I've already said I don't approve of those actions.
Keep Fabletail around then if Fabletail breaks laws and thinks it's okay.
She did not technically break a law. I will say that the police were involved, the police spoke to her and confirmed, and I know because I listened to her talking to the police, they said she did not break the law.
Police also never arrested Toon. The law does not need a conviction. Somebody were to break into your house right now and kill your mom, never be arrested. That doesn't mean his actions weren't illegal.
No,
and again, we also had...
If the police verbally say no law was broken.
You mean like they did with Lou the Kitty, when they just deferred her to a different distinction or different district?
Wait, what'd you say?
Like Lou the Kitty, when we had the cops called on her, when we made her call the cop, or I made her call the cops on herself, and the cops said that they have to defer to a different department. Break any laws there? Never followed up on? Metric sucks. Stop saying we're not going to arrest you doesn't mean you didn't break a law.
They didn't say we're not going to arrest you. They legitimately told her she did not break the law. I heard it.
What law is it? I'll look at it.
Extortion. Florida. That's where both of them live. You think police have automatic knowledge of all laws? Get cut out?
No, you didn't.
Okay, do you think police have encyclopedic knowledge of all laws?
No, but I would assume they know, like, basic laws and shit, like extortion and blackmail and murder and all that.
At some point, you ought to do a YouTube search about police citing laws incorrectly or citing laws that don't exist. The kicker is police can legally lie to you. Don't know. Don't magically know every single law on the books. And sometimes they don't even have a very good grasping of it because their job isn't to sit there and disseminate information about legal counsel to you. It's to arrest you.
Well, at the end of the day, I've already said I don't approve of what she did.
You're okay with having her around despite knowing what she did?
I don't approve of what she did. She won't do it again. And she is my friend and has been there for me through a lot.
So if somebody has that value about Fox, you won't care.
You cut out at that one, I'm sorry.
So if somebody has that value about Fox, you won't care?
I obviously will care, but I obviously can't do anything about it because it's their decision.
Speaking of people being cut out, did Midnight Chimes ever come to you and say he's not going to be around you anymore?
Yeah, he did.
How about that kid Douglas?
Yeah, he did.
If you would be so kind at some point, I would like you to pass those logs about Douglas.
If I still have that, I don't, maybe that's that kid Douglas, I think. Hopefully I still have his fucking... The thing I hate about Discord is it deletes messages after a certain amount of time, or it, like, doesn't delete them, but, like, you'll scroll down and it won't show you, like, everyone you've talked to. So
I can get you a screen name real quick if you want it.
Yeah, I can.
Give me a second. Server. Way too many servers. Bro. So this is his screen name.
Okay.
Give me a second. Scroll all the way back up. Time or anything, Discord.
The young... Okay, let me see if I can find his messages, hopefully.
Start doing a search in the top with the bar. It might pull it up faster.
Yeah, shit, I'm not on his friends list anymore, so... fuck,
You can just send him a friend request and click on the messages, and then you can just cancel the friend request.
Oh, okay, The Young Hero 7808, okay, The Young Hero number 7808. Okay. There it is. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let me get that. There it is. Okay. Twitter, I don't want you. Stop. Okay. There it is.
Okay. Thank you. It's not what I asked him to do, but I appreciate the confirmation. We go save this.
I can look for Midnight Chimes too, because I know he confronted me.
That's fine. Actually, no, go ahead and search for that if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Him and I are back in contact, but we don't talk regularly, but yeah. Where the fuck? Discord is so stupid. Okay. Do you have his Discord name?
Not, but I believe if you posted in your server, what was it? Something Sleeping Satellites? You should be able to find them in there.
Oh shit, you're right. Sleeping Satellites. No, fuck. Okay, Midnight. Let me see. Midnight. Aha! There you are. Son of a. God. Message. Okay. Okay. Hang on, stupid. Fucking the Kiazo's function.
Are you using a snip tool? It's standard on Windows.
No, it's like the Gyazo works, but then the window wouldn't open, so I had to like. Okay, there, we got it. Hang on. There we go.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so one more thing here. Hold on. You told Sin, my video dropped, that you were going to take legal action against me. Why haven't I had a lawyer knock on my door yet?
Well, because at the end of the day, it does cost a lot of money.
You think you'd even have a case?
I mean, yeah, I do.
It's on what?
Defamation.
Defamation. Do you know what the qualification for defamation is?
It has to be a loss of reputation, has to be either a loss of financial effect, it has to be a loss of business opportunity effect.
Also has to do. So it has to be incorrect information and has to be done with intended malice. Meaning that I would have to put it out fully aware that what I am doing is incorrect with the intent to harm you with incorrect information. Even then, you'd be hard-pressed to be able to actually do anything legally about it because it's a civil tort. If I constantly harassed you, called you, tweeted at you, threats, called your workplaces, stuff like that, you might have a better case. I don't do that. I think you're dumb. I think you've made a slew of mistakes, and I don't think you're ever going to change, but I don't think you're a sexual predator of children. And if I was going to go ham like that, it would be on them, not you. Everything I said in that video had evidence to it. Everything I said in that video was corroborated by other people. And as such, while going forward, the things that you have addressed, I will make sure people are aware that you have addressed whenever I'm able to get to that. But the information as it is was not incorrect. The question.
Oh, you cut out.
What's your question?
Opal.
Sorry, I had to do something. I wanted to ask Leo is if what Eden is saying is true about the manga jag thing, and it really was in his savings account, and it didn't, like, he didn't steal it. It just took a long time. I personally think that that is a really big claim, and there should be some kind of edit and re-upload, or some kind of disclaimer of some kind if that particular one isn't true. Because if that is not true, then that would be really fucked up to not correct.
To correct it.
Hmm?
Agreed with Opal. Have to find a way to correct it on the video.
Be able to splice it through YouTube editing.
You're splicing through YouTube. Go ahead, Rouge.
I was gonna say, I don't mean to be rude, but if Mangajog really did get the money or whatever, why did Eden recently give him the money?
That's not what was being said. What Eden's claim is that it was in a savings account, that it got refunded to GoFundMe. Am I wrong on that, Eden?
No, you're not.
Okay. Oh, doubling back and making sure that's done. Now, TikTok. I am still amused at the fact that you think that because I have nerd stuff in my office that means I'm not married. That is hilarious.
I will admit that was actually really immature and stupid of me. No, I will admit.
I just think it's funny. Like, I really do. That is funny. For the record, my wife is fully well aware of what I do online. I can bring her in here and have her confirm that.
She's very awesome.
I will admit, like, I was absolutely petty at points last year. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I was a petty, volatile, downright bitch at times.
What's this I'm hearing about you going after Charlister people?
Oh, okay. I don't just fucking hate or go after people for tripping Charlister. I genuinely take issue. Especially the reason I started, like, really being vocal is because of the Spud situation. And then I found out that one of the people in the chat room, because the minor had calls that Spud had in the chat room that Spud released, and one of the people in that call was also drawing art of rape and necrophilia and shit, and that bugged the shit out of me. And then I was like, I kind of find it very concerning that most people within the Charlistership who draw art of it, not most people, but there is a good sum of people usually draw Alistair as a rapist and find it to be cute and romanticized, or they draw him raping the lesbian of the couple that's canon, and that, I just didn't like that, especially because the people who were doing this were in a chat room where a child had a sexual comment said about them, and then were harassing the child. Well, she's not a child anymore, but you know what I mean.
I know about that situation, but you've done it with more than just the people in that chat room. You've been getting a bunch of random messages on the video about you and other things, detailing the fact that you've had complete meltdowns, like DMing random artists about Charlister stuff. Look, I'm in fandoms. Like, I really would rather never ever again see a picture of Megatron reaming Starscream with a Robo PP, but I'm not also going to go after artists who do it just because I find it distasteful or gross. Can't you just ignore it?
I try to put the mute function on my Twitter, but if for some reason, even if people tag it or say the word, it doesn't block it out. So I'm sometimes have that shit in my face.
Hide that post and go about your business. Don't lose your mind on people who don't even know you're going to see the art.
I guess, like, the reason I really get upset is because they do this, and then when someone so much as says the words, I'm uncomfortable with this shit, not even directed to them, or they just mention not liking the shit, they'll lose their fucking minds and send battalions after people. And I've seen this happen before.
It happened to you.
It hasn't just happened to me. It's happened to people I know. Like, I have a friend who is an real-life lesbian, and someone threatened to send her art of Vaggie being decapitated, who is a lesbian, and that made her genuinely feel threatened and uncomfortable.
Just art. Just art. Come on, you guys have got to at some point get a grasp on reality. You really do.
Yeah, but no one wants to be sent that either.
I don't either. My reaction to that wouldn't be to just completely lose my mind or freak out or feel threatened. Be like, oh, some clown thinks he's going to mess with me. Oh, well, block button, or I'm just going to start making fun of him. I mean, come on. I mean, Eden, how old are you now?
23.
I think it's time.
You cut out.
Don't you think it's time to grow past that? Not act like that?
I get adamant about romanticizing abuse because it's a very personal subject for me.
And don't look at the people who do. Going on a crusade about it is just going to make you look really freaking stupid. And it certainly doesn't endear you to that community. I'm about the has-been community. It's my understanding you got kicked out of yet another server again.
Yeah.
Only part of that could possibly be due to my video. The rest of it has to be due to your actions. Things within every community I'm in that I really don't like. I really don't like. My response is I may criticize it in my videos, but don't go to the places where these people exist and just destruction and make chaos and mayhem and they get surprised when I get blowback. That's goofy. 24. Come on.
23. But yeah.
Something a 14-year-old does.
All right.
Been told you're no longer in VizV's Patreon server. Is that accurate?
Yeah. They
What
said
happened
it was
there?
due to the message I got from the mod was that it was due to my online activity, and they linked the video you made. And then people are saying that I refused to give evidence when the guy never actually contacted me about it. I mean, we talked about like the Fluffy situation and the situation with like the false accusation of me being a groomer, and like
Wasn't cool.
no, it wasn't.
I like you, but I'm not going to stand for that when there's no evidence either.
The reason she's calling me a groomer is because basically she was calling me Buttons, which is like a dead name, and you know it makes me uncomfortable to be called that because of, you know, history with it and trauma and shit. So I asked her one time politely, hey, I understand you don't like me, but can you not call me Buttons? It's a dead name. And then she continued to do it, and then I had someone who was a minor who was trans who spoke up and said, hey, I'm trans and I kind of understand why he doesn't want that. And then basically she said that I was somehow manipulating the minor when I never even asked the minor to do this or knew they did it until after they did it. And they said that because of that I was grooming the minor.
And really, really dumb claim to make.
It is.
And that's why when they came into the server, they got torn apart.
Which server?
The Senate.
Ah.
That situation. Now, it talks about your online activity. Video's part of it. What you do on Twitter is also a major influence there. Really, really is. And I don't think you're quite aware of it, but you need to be very quickly if you're going to continue doing anything involved in that community. This isn't the first server you've been kicked out of, and I'm sure it's not going to be the last if you keep it up. As far as not giving evidence, Buttons' this entire call, we have to double back at some point for the evidence that you say you have. Even if that dude did contact you or get in call with you to hear your side, you would have provided him what you provided me, which is testimony, but nothing solid outside of that. See how that would not have gone well for you.
Yes.
Right. Everything that's gone on here, and you're not going to like to hear this because you never have. I can't do anything to you. I cannot make a video about you. I cannot say a negative thing about you that has any credibility unless you give it to it. And what I mean by that is everything in that video has solid evidence to back the claims being made. I could not have that unless you've done something. To be fair, there are a lot of hit videos out there that have no evidence. Their situation was certainly evidence of that. But there's an entire Google Doc filled with that. With all the nonsense that had happened in that video. And even here, you admit to me you have no excuse for the Ichabod situation. Is one of, if not the most damning thing in that entire video. You don't have much of interaction. You're lonely on the internet. I get that. You probably didn't want to let go of what you thought was a really good guy. You got to be better at making your decisions, and you can't just ignore a assessment that serious, and that is a really serious one, just because people that were mean to you or don't like you made it.
I learned from that, definitely. I
hope so.
Look into
I really do.
situations very thoroughly. Like, if usually, I obviously don't go looking for predators to bust, but if a minor comes to me or someone comes to me about a predator, I immediately go, I need to see evidence before I say anything on the subject. I need you to show me screenshots of something. I need actual viable evidence.
Okay, more importantly, I don't think you even need to be doing that. If somebody brings you a predator, you need to direct them to somebody else, primarily their parents and the police, to handle it. Not equipped for it. We barely are. And so your reach is so small. And that's not even taking into account the crap you've had to deal with when you were younger. And fully well aware that these kids bringing that to you causes your trauma to resurface, and you don't need to be putting yourself through that.
That is actually the reason I do act on it, because I don't like thinking of these kids not being listened to, because I know how that feels, where when I was groomed as a kid, shit happened, and...
Gotta take it to their parents and the cops. Okay. Got to. Strangers on the internet can't fix their problems. We tried for years. It doesn't do much.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Not something you owe me an apology for. I appreciate it, but you don't owe me an apology for it. If you want these kids to be done justice, they have to take it to proper authorities, and primarily their parents, whose job is to protect them.
Okay.
Anything else people want to cover here?
Oh, Gigi, I smelled that yawn. Sorry, my cat yawned and I smelled her breath from here.
So real quick, I'm well aware Fableheart tried to file a police report against me, and that probably got laughed out of the station, so that's kind of funny.
I know. Did she try to file one against you? I can't remember.
Because she went in your server and said, does anybody have a picture of Lio? The only one I have is a picture of him in the Batman costume.
I don't think that was our particular server.
No, I actually do. It wasn't my. It was the Bean Palace.
Wait, was that recently?
No, that was like a year or two ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's old. Then that was before we revamped it, so that's probably why I don't remember that. I was gonna say, because I've been in that server for a long time, I cannot remember that. It's either that or maybe it was just in one of the vent channels.
Anything else? Rouge, Opal, do you have anything?
No.
Opal? All right. Unless you two have something, I think we're done here for now.
I understand what I did is wrong with Ichabod, where I didn't look thoroughly into it, but does what happened with Ichabod make me a criminal? Because I keep seeing that thrown around.
Criminal is in reference to making false allegations and in stealing Manga Jag's money.
Okay.
Not in dating an orbiter. That's not illegal. It's immoral. It's gross, and it's, well,
stupid.
I could get. It's. Come on, you dated somebody who orbited.
I know.
Already had enough.
I feel very gross with the knowledge, and I always make sure to let it be known that I don't approve of contact with him. Prophetic prose, I keep trying to tell her, like, hey, he really isn't good. You really need to distance yourself. And she's being manipulated.
I don't even think that's manipulation. I think that's willful ignorance, because Quill did the same thing.
hopefully...
You ever thought about just...
Hmm?
Go ahead.
I'll try to send you the shit with Wolf's logs. I know Skype is weird because I haven't contacted him in so long and the logs are so long that it takes a while to load. Hopefully he didn't delete shit when he sent them to me. Because he had a very strong habit of deleting messages he would send, whether it was roleplay or something he felt was damning. Because he even, like, said something at one point, I don't even remember what, I just remember him saying, and I'm not deleting that because it's damning, I'm deleting it because... I can't remember what exactly the words were. So I'll hopefully try to look for those. I do have evidence that he does delete shit because, like, he would absolutely...
I saw it.
Hmm?
I saw in your previous thing that he deleted things, so I'm willing to believe that. Just make sure you screen cap that.
No, I will. Skype is weird these days where it doesn't show you the message someone deleted something, it just shows you the message is gone. And I know because, like, when he was being finicky in our relationship, I would like to go back and reread roleplays we did to feel affection from him, and he would delete everything he would send, so I wouldn't be able to read it.
Is there anything else?
Do you have anything, Dan?
I got nothing.
So you are CGI guy. That makes sense.
Hello.
Be more discerning on who your friends are. And frankly, my personal value, due to the others' nonsense, what's her face is trying to pull, I'd eject her.
Who?
It's up to you ultimately. Fable. I'd eject her if I were you, but that's up to you. Not on the same level as Ichabod's nonsense, so I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire on that. I think Rouge tried to say something. You're wrong.
All I did was say hi to Dan.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rouge knows who I am. She's in the server with us.
Well, hiding under a different screen name when your friend says your name out loud probably isn't
That's my stupid
wise.
bad. I'm tired. It's late, so...
I assume that was CGI guy anyways, so... Right, so that's all we've got. At some point within the next week, post those logs so we can go forward with that, and I'll be in contact.
Okay.
All right, good night.
Night.
I'm gonna go die. I'm very tired.
Yeah,
I don't know what was happening.
Sorry, I came in here. I was like, what? And then just tuned out the whole time.
I understand. Thanks for being here, by the way. Sorry if it was a lot.
No, it's good to get things cleared up and go over them, and I'm glad this didn't turn into like a screaming match.
I am too, to be honest.
Yeah. Honestly,
I thought it was going to, honestly.
I was too. I think it was everyone's unanimous mentality of, we're tired, we're going to just do this.